can we proceed that way?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And council, take him slowly.
I will. Mr. Deputy Governor, confirm that you confirmed before the County Assembly as evidenced by the Hansons that you assured Mr. Misati that it was possible for you to assist his son get a job, as it appears in the Hansons. Yes?
Where is that?
The same paragraph I was reading. You may read it in full.
Mr. Speaker, just as a good friend, Mr. Joseph Misat, I was made to know that there is an advert that has come up in the WASCO, and Misati, as a friend, could ask me that his son has also tendered his application. Is it possible for him to be assisted to get a job?
What do you say?
He said yes.
Thank you. Who was to assist him? Who was to assist Mr. Misati's son, I beg your pardon, to get a job?
Myself.
Thank you. Did you assist him in any way?
No.
Let's look at the evidence again. Look at the same paragraph and read the subsequent paragraph where you are answering to Mr. Kato Keegan's case. Are you seeing where Mr. Kato Keegan is asking you? And did you talk to Lucy about the request about your friend? Can you see that paragraph?
Yes, I see.
Read the subsequent one.
That is quoting myself. Like any other leader, Mr. Speaker, this request came to me. Everyone, honorable members, know that Lucy in Wasco would work under, like many child who work under the governor's office, where I'm also the deputy to the governor. And so I indicated to Lucy, asking her if they had such kind of jobs, and she said yes.
So to that extent, you made contacts with Lucy confirming whether the job was available, correct?
That I did.
Thank you. Did you have a look at Lucy's affidavit appearing at page 263 of the bundle of document volume 1 by the County Assembly? Did you not? Page 263. 263. Did you have a look at that affidavit, Mr. Witness? Page 263 of the bundle of document volume 1.
Yes.
You confirmed that you made contacts with Lucy, correct?
That I've said yes.
And therefore the averments contained in her affidavit that you had a discussion about it are correct, yes?
No.
To that extent, they are correct that you made contacts with her in that respect, correct?
To that extent, yes.
Thank you. When did you loan the 500,000 shillings to Mr. Misati?
In October.
Do you have the evidence of the loan that you advanced, or you only have the evidence of repayment?
No, I don't have.
What do you have?
For what?
What do you have? The evidence of loaning or the evidence of repayment?
I have evidence of repayment, Mr. Speaker.
And there is a glaring lack of evidence of you advancing money to him, correct?
That's correct.
And you had Mr. Misati claiming that in terms of your financial status, you are doing badly, correct? It was his evidence.
That's incorrect, Mr. Speaker.
Did you hear him state?
I heard him say that.
So do you trust his evidence anymore?
In this
To that
particular-
extent.
In this particular instance, I do not hold to it, Mr. Speaker, that particular statement.
So are you disowning your witness?
No, I'm not.
So what do you want the Senate to treat that piece of evidence to the extent that you are a pauper?
You want a yes or a no answer?
How do you want the Senate to treat that piece of evidence? And whom between you and your witness is lying?
None of us is lying, Mr. Speaker.
Yes?
Mr. Speaker, there is a general statement made
Mr.
here
Witness,
that
excuse me, Mr. Witness, I want you to take a deep breath and recollect yourself and answer the question. Who between the two of you is lying? Your witness or yourself?
Mr. Speaker, once again, I'm trying to answer the.
Go
the
ahead. What
attorney
is your
is,
answer?
Blocking me.
What is your answer?
My friend, Mr. Misati, while standing here as a witness, talked about problems of politicians, and he said most of them have challenges in terms of money. And at that point, he indicated that I may be one of them.
So I'm asking, who between the two of you is lying? You have not answered the question.
Lying in what?
Mr. Misati alleges you're not doing well financially. You allege you are very well financially.
I've not said I'm doing very well financially.
Thank you.
I'm saying,
Let us
like
go
many
to-
other politicians.
It's
I'm
okay.
doing
You have
as
answered my question.
poorly as the others.
You have answered my question. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to refer the witness to the bundle of document by the Deputy Governor as filed at page 111. It appears a bank statement from Leah Nyachera Onsare. Do you know that individual?
Yes, I do.
Who is she?
She is my daughter.
Can you see entry dated 18th of August 2023?
Yes, I do.
What, in respect to these proceedings, is that entry or does that entry relate to?
It relates to a transaction between Mr. Misati and Leah Onsare.
Your daughter, correct?
Yes.
And you heard Mr. Misati indicate to this as distinguished assembly that you're the one who requested him to send your daughter the 200,000 shillings, correct?
Yes, I did.
You still claim to be doing well financially?
I'm saying yes, I did.
You still claim to be doing well financially?
Yes.
Council, your time is up. The 15 minutes are up.
Well, I'm well guided, Mr. Chairman, but we have had a lot of interruption, Mr. Speaker, sir.
We stopped your time during the interruptions.
At least, Mr. Speaker, sir, because he's a very crucial witness and he carries the crux of the matter. We would better also sacrifice our other 15 minutes and deal with the witness. If it's, because
Can you give the council an opportunity to speak, please?
Because when you
Let's
are
see.
dealing with our key witness, who was the Dennis, the defense was given sufficient time to deal with that witness. At least 1 hour they were granted. Even if we not get more than 1 hour, at least we just get 1 hour for dealing with the key witness, because this is a key witness, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Council, I may not be able to give you 1 hour. So can you request for something reasonable? How
30
many minutes
minutes.
should I give you?
30 minutes, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'll try to do within the 30 minutes.
No, we cannot take too many points of orders. I have Senator Mugeni first on the list. And on this side, I have Senator Cherargei. Those are the only 2 points of orders I'll take so that we can move on. Senator Mugeni.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, because this is a quasi-judicial proceeding, and we want to be seen to be fair to both parties, and since this is the star witness, he's the one who is actually trying to defend himself, and we need to get an opportunity to interrogate all the issues and to also to give counsel enough time, I'll plead, Mr. Speaker, sir, that we allow him 45 minutes so that we don't, if somebody is reviewing our record, we don't seem to have been favoring one side to the disadvantage of the other side, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, you had made a ruling earlier on that the counsel for the county assembly had requested to waive their cross-examination time. And I think you made a ruling that, and we agree, they have a right to waive. So if it is still their position that they can still waive cross-examining the rest, I think they had said 2 witnesses, so that that time can be added to the star witness of the defense, then I don't think there is no problem, because you had made a ruling that they can do that. Then they can still make that application and continue to receive the time that was meant for cross-examination to cross-examine the star witness, Mr. Speaker, because we really want to know what happened, Mr. Speaker. And I think that ruling you had made in the morning. I thank you.
Okay, I will allow 2 more points of orders, and this time I'll take ladies. Senator Crystal Asige.
Senator Crystal Asige.
My apologies, Senator Crystal.
Apology accepted. Thank you very much, Speaker. I had wanted to say exactly what Senator Cherargei said, that there was a ruling in the morning, and we had all agreed amongst us that we would allow for the counsel to reserve his time, remove it from 2 witnesses, that he said he would then instead use that time on the star witness, Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. On this side, Senator Gloria.
Speaker, I am of the opinion that as much as I understand that the ruling was made earlier, Speaker, but 2 points have been raised prior on issues of technicalities, even from the County Assembly, Speaker. And when we deliberate in Senate and we give our final decision, Mr. Speaker, it's imperative that we ensure that we are not giving someone the basis to go to court and say that the procedures were not followed well, or that people, for instance, the County Assembly side were under duress to waive away their 15 minutes, Mr. Speaker. We were here yesterday till midnight, and I believe 15 minutes will be the difference between someone going to court to say that we did not follow the procedure. Mr. Speaker, just allow for them to prosecute the amount of time that they require, and I believe they're only asking for 15 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you, Senator. Counsel,
Yes, Mr.
having
Speaker,
been
sir.
reminded that you had waived your time to cross-examine 2 other witnesses previously, I'm being informed you do have a balance of 15 minutes. You had already utilized your other 15 minutes. So I will give you a further 15 minutes to see if you can conclude
We are
your
most
questioning.
humbled. We are most humbled, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Witness, where did you meet Madam Lucy Wahito from? Did you call her to your office? Did you use your phone? How did you meet her? How did you speak to her?
Mr. Speaker, I met Lucy Waito at the stadium where we hold our offices.
So it was correct when she informed the Senate that she met you or you summoned her to your office, correct?
No, it was not a summon, Mr. Speaker.
You called her
It
to your
was
office.
a casual meeting out there. The governor had a different function, and I met her in that function.
You met her in the function. Did you look at the pleadings of Lucy Wahito appearing at page 263, her affidavit in the bundle of document, volume 1? Did you see that averments, paragraph 13?
Can you see which one?
Did you see paragraph 13
We are trying to look at it.
of the affidavit?
Which page is that?
Page 263.
Paragraph?
13. Sorry, paragraph 5. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Did you see paragraph 5?
The number 5, yes, I can't read the number, but I can see the bottom paragraph.
Yes, are those averments correct? That the recruitment of the commercial manager was to take place in April, correct?
Yes, it is correct.
And that is the same time that you met Mr. Misati and the boys at your house, correct?
No, Mr.
I'm
Speaker.
asking, in April is the same time you met them, correct?
That's incorrect, Mr. Speaker.
Which month did you meet them in your house?
Was in May 28th.
May 28th. Let's go to the May 28th now, because you have taken us there. Would you recall the events of May 28th?
Events of the whole day or events of
Yes,
that visit?
the events that relates to these proceedings.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, there was a visit by Mr. Misati and his sons to my home.
How many sons were in the company of Mr. Misati?
4.
4 of them. Had you previously met Mr. Misati in your house? Previously?
Not once, we had met separately.
Was it every time casual or usual for him to be accompanied by his 4 boys?
Not for Mr.
Thank you.
Speaker, they come sometimes too.
You have answered the question. So what was so unique about this meeting for the 28th of May that he'd be accompanied by his sons?
Nothing unique according to me, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Did you know that he was to be accompanied by his son at the time he was paying you a visit?
No, Mr. Speaker.
And prior to this meeting, had you met Dennis Mokaya Misati before?
No, Mr. Speaker.
And you say that you've been having a very good and healthy friendship with the family, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Speaker.
And for 32 years, you have never met Dennis, correct? You do not know him, you've never met him, you are friends with the father, and you do not know his children, correct?
That's incorrect, Mr. Speaker.
So you therefore know Dennis, correct?
Mr. Speaker, allow me explain.
I'm asking, it's not explaining, I'm asking you to answer the question. Is it normal for a family friend who has been friends with a family for 32 years not to know the children?
I'm explaining, Mr. Speaker, that Mr. Misata have heard in this house in the morning that one of his sons lived 13 years away.
It's okay.
And therefore,
I
there's no way
discount,
can
Mr. Speaker.
come to with the,
Listen
all
to
the
the
sons
question.
when
Mr.
one of them
Witness,
lives away.
you're
So-
wasting my time. Listen to the question. I want to discount the last 13 years of his life. Do not speak to the last 15 years apart from the 28th of May. Had you met Dennis before the 13 years?
No,
You have never met him, right?
I've never.
And you are good friends with the father,
Yes,
32 years.
yes.
Has Mr. Misati's family met your children?
Yes,
Have they grown up together?
growing up together and to what extent?
Yes.
Yeah, they know each other.
They know each other.
Yes.
It's only you, the father, a good father,
No.
a loving father who has not met Mr. Misati's
some
children.
of our children met, some have not met, and I cannot speak that we have had that close
Mr. Witness,
relationship with all the children.
I put it to you that you are lying, that you have never met Mr. Dennis Misati. Did you listen to the testimony by the father?
Yes, I did.
Did you hear that the father confirmed that Mr. Misati's children knows you very well?
Yes, that is said.
So whom between the two of you is lying now?
None of us. Because if the children know
It's okay,
me,
you
I
have
would
answered
not
the
know
question.
them.
I have not put a question to you. Honorable Senators, permit me to go to page 87 of the Deputy Governor's bundle of documents. And as I deal with that aspect, Mr. Speaker, sir, permit me to correlate that annexure with paragraph with paragraph 20 of his affidavit. Mr. Witness, it is in your evidence and testimony that you received 249,000 from one Dennis Misati, correct? I'm putting a question to you. I've not asked you to read. Did you receive 49,000 from Dennis Misati?
Yes.
Page 5 of his bundle of documents of the Deputy Governor's defense. Page 5. Yes? And it is your varmints that he had received that money from his mother, correct?
Yes.
And that the 249 were meant to pay a debt that you had advanced to his father, correct?
True.
Had you previously, before this occasion, ever advanced money to Mr. Misati before?
We are in that kind of...
Had you advanced, yes or no?
Yes, I had.
Did you, how much had you advanced before, if you may remember? Before this occasion?
I can't give one figure.
Yeah, but just give us a figure, approximately.
We have had exchanges of money, 100,000, 200.
Yes, thank you.
Even before
Thank you.
I became
You have answered.
governor.
Now, during the repayment of that, did he pay you?
Yes.
Did you involve his children in the repayment of that loan?
No.
It's an answer. Did you involve his children?
No.
What was so unique with this debt that you had to involve Dennis?
Mr. Speaker, I have...
What was so unique with this debt?
I have not had an involvement of Dennis from my end.
No.
I received my money from one Dennis, Joseph Misati. How he transmits it to me...
It's okay.
Not...
You received money from Dennis, correct?
I received money from...
And it is your varmints, and you're trying to explain that the money was sent to Dennis by his mother. That is in your varmints, correct or not correct, Mr. Witness?
That's correct. I got it from the parents. And
you got it from the parents?
Yes.
And so I'm asking, because you have averred through your affidavit, you have averred
Proceed,
through your
Counsel.
affidavit.
Proceed.
You have averred through your affidavit that the money that Dennis received was sent to him by his mother, correct?
That's correct.
I'm asking a simple question. Previously, you never involved Misati's children in the repayment of his debts to you, correct? Correct or not correct?
Incorrect.
You involved them previously?
I've not.
So what was so unique that Dennis was on this occasion involved in the repayment of the debt?
I've said severally that it is not in my arrangement to have Dennis be involved in the transaction of the money.
Thank you.
From his parents.
So did it ring bells to you that day that Dennis has now been involved in the payment of 249?
No, I didn't find...
Did you ask Mr. Misati why the money is being sent by Dennis and not the mother? Did you ask or you never asked?
No, I didn't ask.
How did you transact with that money upon receipt?
Is your question complete?
How did you transact upon the receipt of the 500,000 shillings? How did you transact? Did you send 100,000 shillings to Lucy?
Yes, that is true.
What time did you send him?
Where is that?
But let's go first of all to the time that you received this money. Honorable Senators, we can go to page 99 of the Deputy Governor's Bundle of Defense. It bears the M-Pesa statement. That is, he has only one volume labeled as DG, page 99 of the Deputy Governor's Defense. That is the M-Pesa statement. What time, how many trunks did you receive from Dennis Misati?
Can we get right directions? Because you talked of Lucy now.
I've led you, Mr. Governor, to page 99 and 100 of your bundle of documents. Are you there?
Yes.
Can you see the first entries where Mr. Dennis appears?
Yes.
Can you see where he sent you 150,000?
Yes.
Which date was it?
It was on 28th of May at 20:33:51.
Confirm that he sent this money while he was at your house, correct?
Correct.
What time was it? Was it during the day or at night?
It was at night.
Did you need any cash money with that day?
Of course, I needed my money back.
I'm asking, not the money. Did you say you want the money in cash?
Yes, I wanted money in cash.
And whom did you tell that you wanted money in cash?
Joseph Misati.
Yes?
Joseph Misati.
And so Joseph Misati came before this house and testified that the reason why the money was sent to Dennis was that he could go and withdraw the money, correct?
Correct.
Where was it to withdraw the money?
What?
Where was he to withdraw the money?
Where? Of
Yes.
course, in the M-Pesa shop.
Where exactly?
Keumbu.
Keumbu.
Yes.
From Keumbu to your house, how many kilometers is it?
About 3.
About 3. Does Dennis have a car?
Dennis?
Yes.
No, if he has, I don't know.
Did you hear his father testifying that they needed a young man who could run very fast?
That he said.
That he said, correct?
Yeah.
Did Mr. Misati come driven with his car
Yes.
that day, correct?
Yes.
And so the money was sent to Dennis that he could go and rush and withdraw and bring you cash, correct?
That will be
Correct or not correct, Mr. Witness?
correct.
So he was to run faster than the car, correct?
No, that I cannot.
Correct or not correct? Yes?
The running explained by Mr. Misati was for
It is you now, is your witness. I want you to confirm and corroborate his evidence. Correct or not correct?
correct.
Thank you. So, eventually, did you get the cash?
No.
The cash, did you get it?
I'm saying no.
So was your desire and the need to have the money repaid met when you received the M-Pesa from Dennis?
Yes.
And what time did you receive the second bunch? You received it for purposes of time at 20.
It was 2020, 37, 31.
2037, 31, correct?
Yes.
And what time did you send to Lucy? The next page, page 8, page 99.
It was 21, 24, 13.
How many minutes later?
Calculation.
Approximately 40 minutes later, correct?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
What was the need of you sending the money to Lucy at night? On a Sunday?
I've already indicated I was intending to send money to Gladys.
Yes.
And by error.
What actions did you take? When did you notice the error?
Next morning.
The next morning, because you slept, correct?
Yes.
You confirmed that you slept. You confirmed that you immediately slept after sending the money to Lucy. Correct or not correct, Mr. Witness?
I'm not saying I slept.
Okay. I lead you to the County Assembly Hansons. Did you appear before the County Assembly as I look for the page and confirmed that immediately you slept? Do you remember making that confirmation?
Can you take us to the paragraph?
Honorable Senators, I'm looking at volume 1, page 191. Where is answering my learned senior counsel question. The last paragraph, he says, I was due to give her 100,000 shillings And as I did this, I erroneously picked the wrong number and sent the 100,000 shillings then. Then I slept without knowing recipient is a different person. Is that your statement?
That's my statement.
Did you take this statement on oath before the county assembly?
Yes.
Do you still want to stand with the statement or you want to discount it now?
To stand with the statement, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Council, you know your time is actually up.
I am just about to be done. 5 minutes, Madam Speaker. Because for me to debunk the lie.
Council, I'll give you 2 minutes. You just maybe wind up with the questioning.
I'll try my best, but I'll seek your indulgence. Mr. Witness, look at where you sent money to Lucy, correct? At page 99 of your bundle of documents.
Yes.
Can you see at 23:57, you sent money to Wilfred Momanyi, 10,000 shillings?
Yes, I did.
Was it the same day?
Same day.
Were you asleep?
I slept.
Did you send the money while you were asleep?
No.
Thank you. Let's proceed. That is 2 hours later, correct?
But you know,
That is 2 hours. Excuse me, Mr. Witness, you're wasting my time. That is 2 hours later, correct?
it is 2 hours later, yes.
And on the following day, sorry, at the same time, you also sent your lost. You also sent money to one Joseph Aurora, correct? 3,000 shillings, correct?
Where is that?
That is the next day, correct?
Joseph Aurora.
The next
The
day,
next day is the 29th, yes.
you sent, had you noticed you had made an error that time?
I did not.
When you are sending 10,000 shillings to Wilfred Momanyi, did you notice that you had made an error?
No.
When you made an error, when did you realize you've made an error? After receiving a call from Lucy or your own volition?
It was Lucy's call.
It was after you received a call, correct?
Yes.
But on the same date, at 9:17, you sent 100,000 shillings to Gladys Amiga, correct?
Correct.
Had Lucy made the call at that particular time?
Yes.
Do you know what time Lucy made the call to you?
I can't recall the exact time, but Lucy's conversion here was to the effect that she called at 8 while in Kisumu.
So at this time, you had tried to make attempts to reverse, correct? When did you make the attempts to reverse the money?
When I talked to Gladys to Lucy is when I was
At 9, correct?
yes.
Show us in your M-Pesa statement where the attempts to reverse the money has been captured.
I failed. I didn't make
Excuse me.
a successful attempt.
Excuse me.
It is not a capture.
Yes, we understand that you failed. And when you fail to reverse, you are given an M-Pesa statement or position.
That's what I'm
Excuse me. Let me put this into context.
Council, can you allow him to answer? And that should be your final question, please.
Yes, proceed. It is your statement that you claim to have tried and it was not successful, correct?
Yes, that I've made it clear here in this house.
Which USDD codes did you use?
I've said I'm not an expert in IT, Madam Speaker, and therefore I was trying something I'd not done before.
Which procedure did you use in your
I was
trials?
trying to get somebody to assist me.
Who is that you tried to get?
The people who were in my compound then.
Yes, for example,
I didn't get one who
okay,
could
we understand.
successfully reverse
You may name one person that you attempted to initiate.
one person.
Yes,
My wife,
your wife.
yes.
Is she conversant with the reversals?
That is where we got a challenge. She's not.
She is equally not conversant.
Yes.
Mr. Daktari, confirm that you are a real doctor and not an imposter. Yes?
Madam Speaker,
You don't understand small
that matters
instructions.
Matters referred to here remain on the subject we are discussing. about my education. It is not a matter in.
But you are well educated, correct? You are well educated, no doubts, correct?
Madam Speaker, I would like to
Council,
protest
your
at the
time,
disrespect that has
Council,
continuously been
Council
shown.
Keegan, you
Yes.
can resume your seat for now. Council Degwa Jiro, your time is up actually. We have indulged and overindulged on the cross-examination.
If you indulge me, I'll only ask one question about the phone book and I'll be done.
No.
Only one question about the phone book and how the mistake is alleged to have occurred, and I'll be done, Madam Speaker.
Council, there was cross-examination on that issue of the phone book.
Yeah, we
if I
have not
recall.
examined on it.
So,
Clear, kwanza.
Council, ask the final question and don't ask another question.
I'm well guided, Madam Speaker. Mr. Witness, let's go to page 117 of your bundle of documents, the volume from the Deputy Governor. But as we confirm this, confirm that these are an extract from which source? Where did he extract this information from?
From my phone, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker.
Who extracted it for you?
I was assisted by somebody technical.
Somebody technical?
Yes.
When were you assisted?
When I was providing the evidence here.
Was this a document that was typed or you directly downloaded it from your phone?
It was done from my phone.
It was typed, correct?
Not typed.
Yes?
No.
Which date was it done? Does that document bear a date?
It doesn't.
Does it bear any print showing the source of the document?
Print. No, except for the names that are listed there.
Except for the names, correct?
Yes.
I put it to you that you are the one who did this to try and choreograph your story.
I'm not the one.
Finally, when did Lucy
Thank you,
return the money
Counsel.
to you?
Thank you, Council. That marks the end of that cross-examination. This is now time for re-exam.
Madam Speaker, we had sacrificed, because at least there's something that has not yet come out. Gladys is alleged to have received money. We have not spoken about the story of Gladys. If you could just give us 5 more minutes and we can subtract from the balance of the witnesses that we have so that we deal with that issue. Because this is a very crucial witness. Remember, Madam Speaker, we sat through cross-examination of our key witness for 1 hour without interruption. But I'm happy by the magnanimous of the Assembly. Only 5 minutes, from which I'll invite my friend, Mr. Mutuma, to conclude.
Council, this is a time-bound process.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
And you have been indulged over 5 times on your request for time. I think your frequent requests may not now be merging in with the time schedule that we have to complete the whole exercise.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
I will now allow the re-exam to be done by the council.
I am well
for the
guided.
DG. What is your point of order, Senator?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I think if I heard the council clearly, he's saying that they are willing to sacrifice more minutes from the other witness. And if they think this is what is going to help their case, Madam Speaker, we would want to hear them. And also I would want to remind the House, if we are time-bound, we should also be thinking and knowing that also the assemblies are time-bound, if you know what I mean.
Senator Cheptumo, You have a point of order?
Madam Speaker, I also want to request you, because Madam Speaker, if the council for the county assembly is ready and willing to surrender a portion of their time, and Madam Speaker, they are saying that they have a critical area of their evidence to cross-examine this witness. Madam Speaker, I don't want the House to be accused. I know we don't have time, but it will be a big issue that they never got a time to finalize a small area within only 3 or 4 minutes. Madam Speaker, I plead that you consider your ruling. I want to support what Senator Kiambu is proposing. It should be fair for this House.
Because the issue is the same, I will allow one more intervention from Senator Enoch, and then I will make a ruling on it.
Madam Speaker, it is the same plea. Listening to the counsel for the assembly, they are not asking to spend more time than they have. They're just asking to spend their time differently. I had another witness here say it's the way he manages his finances. So they just want to manage their time differently. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
In view of the mood in the House and the fact that you will just take your minutes from another witness, I want you now to make a proposition on how many minutes you want to take from your other witnesses, and then we allocate you that to finalize.
Madam Speaker, you only take 6 minutes.
6 minutes, and Secretariat will take away the 6 minutes from their other time schedule. Before you proceed on, Senator Methu, and in under half a minute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'll take very little time. I thought as part of procedure, it is fair that the council would let us know which of the witnesses they are taking the minutes from, so that we know specifically from whom they are taking the minutes from, so that we don't get the witness and then they backtrack they know what they had donated.
Senator Methu, to array your fears, I will ensure that we take out those minutes from either of their witnesses. We could even proceed from 3 minutes from each of the witnesses. He's taking 6 minutes, and the Secretariat can begin timing, and it will be strict.
Thank you.
Council
Thank you, Madam Speaker. When did Lucy refund the money to you?
Lucy refunded the money on the 30th of May, Madam Speaker.
From the 29th up to the 30th, did you try to call her to ask why she has not refunded your money?
Madam Speaker, I talked to Lucy and she told me she was at the airport in Nairobi landing for a meeting.
Yes, which day did you speak to her?
I'm explaining, Madam Speaker, that I talked to Lucy
Which date?
on the 29th.
On the 29th?
Yes.
Yes. And the money was refunded on?
The 30th, the next day.
I yield the witness to Mr. Mutuma.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and good afternoon, Deputy Governor of Kisii.
Good afternoon.
I have 2 or 3 questions on one line of questioning. You allege that the money you sent to Lucy was meant to be paid to one Gladys.
Yes.
And that is Gladys Aminga, right?
Right.
You have also indicated that it was meant for transport.
Yes.
For a work that
yes.
she had done for you.
Work that was ongoing.
Work that
Madam
was
Speaker.
ongoing. Yes. You forgot to mention that the reality, of course, that Gladys Aminga is also a chief officer in the county government of Kisii.
That is true.
You left that out. Is it that you forgot or you conveniently left that out?
I did not forget, nor intentionally leaving it out. Gladys Aminga was doing business as a person, and therefore she gave me a transport. I
So-
wasn't paying the government of Kisii
So you
County.
and Gladys were in business, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And have you had the opportunity to look at the statement that Gladys wrote when you first dragged her name in the county assembly? Honorable Senators, I'm referring to page 315 of the DG's response. Have you had the occasion to look at that statement? Volume 1, sorry, it's our volume 1. It's at volume 1, page 315. This is quite crucial, Honorable Senators. You have the statement with you? Do you have the statement with you?
I have the statement with me, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Gladys says that on 28th of January 2022, your wife made a request for her nephew to be granted a tender to supply non-pharmaceutical materials. Can you confirm that?
I cannot confirm that, Madam Speaker.
You cannot confirm that? Gladys goes ahead to say that you called and forced her to grant the tender, and the tenders are cited and quoted at paragraph 317.
Madam Speaker, I request that we are taken through that affirmation.
It is at page 317 from page 315. Specifically, do you know one Osiemo Bernard Mogengo? Is that your nephew? Or the nephew to your wife?
I do not know that name.
You do not know that name?
Yes.
Do you know a company called Bisfarm?
I do not know the company named Bisfarm in this statement.
Gladys states that you influenced the issuance of this tender and promised that you would also give her an opportunity to supply you with building materials.
Madam Speaker, I'm asking that we be taken through that particular line where I'm being led.
All right, can you read paragraph at page 315, the paragraph that begins, I became the chief officer. Volume 1, Honorable Senator of the County Assembly's response. Page 315. First of all, confirm at the top, the person who swears that statement is Gladys Aminga.
Yeah, the name is Gladys Aminga.
Confirm that 0727455843 is the same number you sent money to, and that number belongs to Gladys. That number appears at the top, correct? Correct?
Let me refer.
That is the same number, correct? That is the same number, correct?
Yes, that's the same number.
Confirm that the designation of this person swearing the statement is Chief Officer, Medical Services, Public and Sanitation, Kisii County Government, correct? From the statement, correct?
Correct.
Can you read for us the paragraph that begins with, I became the Chief Officer on 28th of January?
I became the chief officer on 28 January 2023 after being competitively recruited.
Thank you.
By the
Jump to the next page, 316. Begin with today, 29th February 2024.
Day 29 February 2024, while defending himself in the impeachment motion, mentioned my name by stating that he sent me money through M-Pesa in the month of May 2023. I wish to put the record straight as follows.
Proceed. Proceed, kindly.
What's this?
In the month
of May 2023, the deputy governor's wife, Joyce Monda.
Is that your wife? Confirmed for record purposes, Joyce Monda?
She's Joyce Unsare. She's not Joyce Monda.
But Monda is yourself, right? So it is correct if she is referred to as Joyce Monda.
Monda is my surname.
Proceed.
Who is known to me, called me and asked me to assist her nephew who had two companies in the supply of medical drugs and non-pharmaceuticals. She what?
Council, you know your time is up.
Yes.
The nephew by the name Osiemo Bernard Mogengo. Where do I stop?
I think you can stop there because the statement is clear and senators are able to read. That allegation is that the amount of 100,000 you're paying to Gladys was as a result of you allowing her to work for you in exchange of the tenders that she had granted to the nephew to your wife. What do you have to say to that?
Madam Speaker, I deny having knowledge of that kind of position.
Mr. Deputy Governor, Doctor, you were supplied with these documents in advance, correct?
No, Madam Speaker, these documents...
These are parts of the documents that the County Assembly supplied you with, correct?
No, Madam Speaker.
Are you saying that your council does not have a copy of these documents? Is that what you're saying? Because we know it is true and your council will respond. Have you made any attempt to respond to the allegations on that statement? You have not. You have not challenged that allegation that you had knowledge of, have you?
You want me to respond?
Yes, proceed.
Council, your time is now up.
Madam Speaker, she's giving direction.
Give your final answer on that.
Madam Speaker, on the date this is being made, this statement is being made, is the day I was undergoing the impeachment.
The question
on
was,
the floor of the House.
The question was,
and it is referring to that impeachment process that I had mentioned her name.
The question is, have you responded to that allegation that you had knowledge of?
Council, can you let him answer?
Thank you. I just wanted her, Madam Speaker, to answer the right question, whether he has responded to these allegations, because he had knowledge of them. Proceed and answer. Kindly answer that question. Have you responded?
Madam Speaker,
have you responded? It's a yes or no?
No.
So Lucy was not the only person working with the county that you sought to influence. You've been influencing other county officers as well. That is all for this witness. Thank you.
Council Keegan, how much time do you need for re-exam?
Could I request for 15 minutes, Madam Speaker?
Could you be 10 minutes, Council?
Okay, I'll try, Madam Speaker.
10 minutes.
Yes. I would like us to start with the issue of Gladys Aminga. Now, the first thing I would like to ask you is the question of whether or not you've responded. When were these documents served? Were they served, the statement from Gladys Aminga, was it part of the documents you were served with at the point of your appearance at the County Assembly?
No, Madam Speaker.
And they were served when this motion was presented to the Senate, isn't it?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
And have you had an opportunity, an occasion where you could have filed a response to that statement?
There has not been any opportunity, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Now, I would like us to discuss the contents of that statement. My colleague repeatedly asked you whether it is true that you forced Gladys Aminga to give a tender. And the first thing I would like you to confirm, do you know this person mentioned in this statement? This Osiemo Bernard Mogengo, do you know him?
I do not know him, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker.
is referred to as a nephew of your wife. Do you know that relationship? Are you aware of that relationship?
Madam Speaker, if he's a relative of my wife has not brought him to me for introduction, so I do not know.
Now, you've been asked also whether you know some two companies associated with that Osiemo Bernard, namely Peace Farm and Mobichem. Do you know the two companies?
No, Madam Speaker.
Now, you went through the statement together with my colleague on what he was referring to. Did you see anywhere where it is said that you forced her to give any tenders to anybody?
No, Madam Speaker.
Now, it is said that the payment was in consideration, the 100,000 was in consideration of having given out tenders. You remember that allegation? Now, you recall the question being put to you that it is alleged that you were sending this money because you had influenced some tenders. You remember that?
Yes, that was the question.
Now, what was the purpose of the 100,000?
Madam Speaker, the 100,000 was part payment towards transport services that I got from one Gladys Amenga for construction materials.
Now, I would like us to read what Gladys says and confirm whether she confirms that the payment was for services rendered.
Gladys says, and I read, he paid me through M-Pesa for the supply of sand and ballast. I have since learned that I made a mistake in giving the LPOs and I have never repeated. That is all I wish to state. That is Gladys Amenga.
And so Gladys Amenga very explicitly explains that the payment, the remittance of 100,000 was a payment for services of transport and supply of sand and ballast, isn't it?
That is true.
And that's what you are paying for yourself?
That's what I was paying for.
Does Amenga, to the best of your knowledge, say anywhere that you personally told her to give tenders to anybody?
No, where she said that.
Yeah, okay. Now I'd like us to move on to a different issue. You've been asked whether you are asked to confirm that indeed you had a conversation with Lucy about the employment bid by Dennis Misato. You remember that?
Yes, I remember.
And you said you mentioned it to Lucy.
I did mention it to Lucy, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Now, when you say, when you were taken then to the affidavit of Lucy, do you agree with the way Lucy has explained about that issue of how you met?
No, I do not agree.
More specifically, did you summon her?
No, Madam Speaker, I have not summoned Lucy for this kind of discussion.
For emphasis, in what circumstances did you meet Lucy at which you mentioned this issue?
I met Lucy in a function we had with the governor in the stadium where our officers are, and I mentioned this position by my friend, Misati.
Okay, then it is said that you are struggling, you do not have funds, you are a pauper, and what do you have to say about that?
Poverty, Madam Speaker, is relative. It depends on who is affirming that. In the eyes of one, it could be I'm a pauper. In my own eyes, I'm an honorable deputy governor of the Kisii County.
let's talk about more in terms of your circumstances. Are you able to underwrite your liabilities and obligations?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
You are able to meet your obligations?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
And in that sense, you are not struggling, or are you struggling?
I'm not struggling.
Okay. Now, when Mr. Joseph Misati chose to say that you are struggling, was that a communication you had passed on to him? Had you told him that I'm struggling, or how did that come up?
It's not my position. Mr. Misati made a general statement about his understanding of
It was his
those of us,
understanding of
yes,
the
of
issues.
those of us who are politicians.
Okay. Now, questions were asked about whether or not you've involved children in repayment of your debts in the previous relationship with Mr. Joseph Misati. And my question is, on this day, did you know that Mr. Misati was coming with his children?
No, I didn't know.
You didn't know. And did you agree with Mr. Misati how the children would be involved in him refunding the money you had lent him in November 2022?
No, Madam Speaker.
Whose decision and judgment was it on how how the money was to get to you?
It was Mr. Misati's.
It was Mr. Misati who chose how he wanted to send you?
Misati Joseph, yes.
Okay. I would like us to look at the Hansard, page 191, where you are asked about whether you slept after sending the money, page 191 of the Hansard.
Where was that?
Now, it is said that after you send the money to Lucy, you slept, isn't it? And that's what you said at the county assembly, isn't it?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Now, I want us to confirm if this is what is stated in the Hansard. On that evening, I had to pay a debt of the transport I had used to ferry some building materials to my home to one Gladys Aminga, who does transport business. So I was due to give her Kenya shillings 100,000. As I did this, I erroneously picked the wrong number and sent 100,000, then slept without knowing the recipient is a different person. Mr. Speaker, sir, the next morning before I took my breakfast, I received a call from Lucy informing me that I had sent 100,000. You can see that?
I can see that.
Now, does that statement say you slept immediately or that you generally slept that night?
I generally slept without noticing that error.
So your point is that at a certain point in that night you slept, but not necessarily immediately after sending the money?
That's the position, Madam Speaker.
And your statement then to the county assembly captured in that Hansard is not in any way inconsistent with the contention that you sent some money 2 hours after you had sent to Lucy?
That is true.
It's
Madam
not
Speaker.
inconsistent?
Yes.
Okay. Lastly, just for emphasis, or rather 2 questions. Had Mr. Joseph Misati visited you with his boys previously?
Yes, some of his boys, not all of them.
Not, but from time to time he has visited you with his boys?
That is true.
And so this visit, was it unusual in any way?
It was not unusual, Madam Speaker.
Both in terms of him visiting you and coming with his boys?
Yes.
Okay. Did you at any point pressurize Lucy that you needed a job for your friend's son?
No, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, I would like to leave my re-examination there.
That's okay. Is that all for this witness? We'll now proceed on, councils, senators, to raise their interventions or clarifications that members may have. The board is full with over over 15 senators were interested in asking for clarifications. I want to propose that we take 4 on this side and 4 on the other side. So let's begin with Joe Nyoto. Senator Joe Nyoto.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. I just want to seek very short clarifications from the witness. And the first one is from the evidence of Joseph Misati, the friend. Misati went to the DG's home accompanied by his sons for that meeting where they had a separate meeting between him and Joseph Misati with the sons at a distance. The clarification I'm seeking is, why would grown men, the sons, accompany the father to a meeting with a friend to discuss matters that did not relate to the employment of Dennis Misati? That is one. Number two, when the witness sent 100,000 Kenya shillings to the MD of Wasco, and he says in his statement that this was sent erroneously. It was supposed to be sent to another lady who is a CEO within Kisii County government. It took 2 days. Would the witness clarify? Because the usual, everyone sending money through M-Pesa is once you send an amount of money, then you will receive a message from M-Pesa detailing whom you have sent it to. Is the witness truthful when he alleges that he did not discover immediately that he had sent the money to the wrong person? And even if he did, he alleges that he did not have the technical know-how to reverse the transaction. But ideally, Madam Speaker, one would call the person to whom you have sent the money erroneously and request them, especially because this is somebody that is well known to you, request them to send the money back to you, which did not happen until the following day when the MD called the witness herself.
Thank you, Senator Nyoto. Allow the witness to respond.
Madam Speaker, Mr. Misati Joseph came with his 4 sons, and at my age and his age, we thought, and it's normally the practice, that we leave the children aside and do business of your own. I did not have any special reason to accommodate the children in the discussions we held with Mr. Misati. When, question 2, when I sent money erroneously to Lucy, the MD Wasco, I've already indicated that I slept without noticing the error. The next morning, Lucy called me and told me about this money. I asked her to send back the money, but she told me she was already at the airport trying to fly out to Nairobi from Kisumu. And Madam Speaker, she asked me to reverse, which I've already indicated I didn't have that technology of reversing the money as that's been indicated. Madam Speaker, when she reached Nairobi, I talked to her, and she told me she was entering a crucial meeting she will transact later. On the issue of reversing the money, Madam Speaker, I came to learn when I received these statements in this impeachment that it was that Lucy, having received the 100,000 from me, immediately after spent 5,000, and therefore it did not remain, and I will refer the honorable senators to that page where Lucy has received the 100,000, and immediately after has drawn or paid out 5,000, reducing the money from the 100,000. I'm guided that if I tried, even if I would have tried, I'm guided by those who know that with less money than what I would have tried to reverse, the reversal would have not been possible. That's my response, Madam Speaker.
Senator Enoch Wambua.
Madam Speaker, allow me to engage the witness. Very briefly, within 2 minutes, I'm done. His Excellency DG, what is the official title of one Lucy Wahito?
Official title is CEO.
CEO.
That's what I know. Some people exchange it with MD.
What is the official title? She has a letter of appointment. What is she? Is she an MD? Is she a CEO?
No, that one CEO? I cannot take a position on which title she holds.
You can't. So, but you have saved her as what? Chief officer?
I've saved her as CEO.
Chief officer.
Yes.
And you're saying you made a mistake between Lucy and Gladys Amiga.
Yes.
What is the connection in the typing for either Lucy or Guasco, whatever it is, and Gladys and Amigo? Because you have to type for the name to pop up. What is the connection in the keyboard of your phone? Because they are all the same. What is the alphabetical ordering of either of those names?
When you look at what we have attached there, Lucy and Gladys are next to each other.
Yeah, but you have to type. You have to type the name for the name to pop up.
I've indicated, Madam Speaker, earlier that I have tried to save staff of the county under an easier way of accessing them, and that's why I have the CEO, my own way of easily accessing the officers of the county.
Madam Speaker, I need your protection because I think from Kisii County, there are very many different ways of doing things. Now, this one has a different way of typing names on the keyboard, which is standard. It's a standard keyboard. When you type GWA, what's the connection between GWA and GLA? There can never be any connection.
I've indicated, Madam Speaker, that the way of CEO would bring all the officers.
I will
then
rest my case.
The rest of the names will follow.
The next question, Madam Speaker, so that we save on time.
That should be
the last question, yes. Yeah. The last question. You erroneously, as you say, sent money to Lucy, and you don't realize that you have sent money until the following morning, which is questionable. But that morning, you are called by Lucy and she says, what did you send this money to me for? So at least you know now there is 100,000 shillings that you send to Lucy, which is your money.
True.
But you go to the bank and withdraw 130,000 shillings to send to some other people, and yet you have your money that is already with Lucy, which you can access and use for the same purposes. Why was it easier for you? You are saying you're not tech savvy, but you're able to withdraw money from the bank. You're not able to reverse money that you have sent. Are you being selective in your tech savviness?
Madam Speaker, I'm not being selective. if you read my statement correctly, the money I sent to Lucy was in my M-Pesa, and the money I sent that morning, Lucy told me I have sent her money, was still in the same M-Pesa, so I didn't go to the bank to draw any other money. I had some money.
The money is not in your M-Pesa now, it is in Lucy's phone. It's not in your M-Pesa anymore. You
I'm
have sent
saying
already.
I had more money in my account that could be enough to send another 100,000. I didn't send 130,000 to Gladys. It's 100,000 to Gladys after I discovered Lucy had taken 100 that she had not refunded or returned.
Madam Speaker, I'm okay.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Gloria Oruoba. In under 1 minute, and senators, if we could reduce our questions to only 2, it will help because there are very many senators who are interested in clarifying.
Thank you, Speaker. I only have 2 questions. Speaker, on the first one, when Joseph Misati was here and he was questioned on his relationship with you on a business level, he said at one point that you had an M-Pesa shop. I just wanted you to clarify, have you at any one point had an M-Pesa shop? And if so, would that then conflict that you do not know how to operate M-Pesa, particularly reversals? Then my second question is that on the assembly bundle, page 283 and 287, it is stated that the deputy governor was buying land at 500K per acre, which was negotiated down to 200K per acre to help the children. But in the sales agreement, it is written that you are to pay 2.8 million by the end of October, which you clarified that you are not able to pay. And then the question is, after that, you actually paid 500,000 to Joseph. So the question is, where did you get the money? Because those two are conflicting. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam Speaker.
Give quick,
Madam
short
Speaker.
answers.
Madam Speaker.
Can I guide the witness? If you could give short, quick answers, it will help us to move faster. Don't give long narration.
Madam Speaker, I've never owned an M-Pesa business. What Mr. Misati Joseph averred to in his witness was his own M-Pesa business and not mine. Number 2, the Honorable Senator has referred to a case that I've also seen in this House yesterday about an elder from Magenja Ward who was selling land that he had owned in Transmara, Naroko County. And Madam Speaker, she came to me and asked me if I can buy. When I attempted to follow up the documents, I realized this same land had a lot of encumbrances. There were people on that land. I don't know whether I call them squatters or what. And he wanted me to go and use an auctioneer to remove those people and buy that land. At that point, I said, I can't buy a case. I'm buying land, it's land, and not issues, fighting with people. And at that point, I said, we cancel this deal, Madam Speaker. That's where the story of land rests.
Senator Agnes Kavindu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mine is a follow-up question on the M-Pesa to Lucy. Madam Speaker, when he was giving his evidence, he said that he did not know how to reverse the money, and he was looking for somebody to reverse the money for him. And I'm wondering if he looked for someone for 2-3 days, and he could not get anyone who could reverse that money, even after Lucy had told him that the money was there, and after he had confirmed. Madam Speaker, this one raises a lot of questions. And number 2, he talked of not knowing the his best friend's children. And yet, when his friend was giving evidence, he said that there is even a time he called him to go and fundraise for the children's school fees. Madam Speaker, I don't understand how I can be called by my best friend to go and fundraise for his son or his daughter, and I cannot be familiar with the same daughter. Thank you.
Witness, did you?
Madam Speaker, I've indicated that Lucy called me on the 29th, on the morning of 29th May. And that is the time there was this conversation on the erroneous sending of money. And she was on transit. I called her later when I asked her to send me back the money, but she was in Nairobi in a meeting. That is on the same day of the 29th of May. She sent me back the money the next day. So the issue of 3 days, Madam Speaker, does not arise. It is the next day. The next question.
The issue of children.
Familiarity of children. Madam Speaker and honorable senators, I'm very good at knowing the faces of people once well exposed to me. When I go to fundraise with my friend, I'm not fundraising with the children, it's the adults whom I fundraise with. We sometimes do these fundraisings, all of us, honorable leaders, honorable senators, with the people in the village, the invited guests, and therefore, we may have our children out there, some in school, some wherever they may be, and I will want to still remain that I cannot identify all the children of all my friends. It is not possible for anyone, and I will be lying if I said that, Madam Speaker.
Senator Charadike.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll be precise with an eye of a military marksman. One, Mr. Deputy Governor, can you table your evidence? Can you table a phone as part of the evidence now so that we can cross-check those numbers that you're talking about, Wahito and Aminga? Number one. Number two, what is your relationship with other leaders in Kisii County? Number three, who ensures that there is proper budgetary utilization of funds in Kisii County? And finally, how do you feel that the father of Dennis, how do you feel that your brother testified against you? And how do you feel the father testified against the son, Madam Speaker, so that we get the feeling that is happening? And finally, what is your relationship with the governor, Simbarati? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, as I respond, I will request that where I'll miss some of the questions, the Honorable Senator would remind me. For tabling the phone, I will request your directions, Madam Speaker, that I'd left my phone with my security out here. If the Sergeant at Arms can get the phone for the view by the honorable senators. That's my request, Madam Speaker.
Sergeant at Arms, you can assist him, so he can just open the page where the list of names was downloaded. To answer the rest
I have no
of the
objection,
questions.
Madam Speaker, if they can be doing that. My relationship with the Kisii politicians is the next question. And Madam Speaker, I've been a politician for some time now. And I can confidently say I have very good relationship with my colleagues, politicians in Kisii. And in circumstances where we do not agree, we have sought to solve and make ourselves agree as politicians. I hope I've answered that. I have a very good relationship with my colleague politicians across the board. On the issue of who ensures the budget of the Kisii counties used, Madam Speaker, this I referred to it earlier, but Madam Speaker, I will say it is the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of the county, to ensure absorption of resources given by the government, the national government. The budget that you give us from this house is used effectively, Madam Speaker. And so that's my affirmation that there is a CEO to ensure we spend our resources. On the issue of Joseph Misati and his son, Dennis Misati, then the situation of my brother and myself, this is very unfortunate, Madam Speaker, that one family will have, family members will have to move out of the family circles and come to solve their family disputes in the Senate. It is unfortunate, and I wanted to say here, Madam Speaker, I felt so much embarrassed that a member of the Parliament in this country will find his way, that's myself, for some reason, find a reason to come here and talk about family issues in the Senate. It is unfortunate, and I regret the situation, Madam Speaker, for both Mr. Joseph Misati and his son, and myself and my brother who was here yesterday evening. On the question of my relationship with my governor, the Honorable, His Excellency, the Honorable Paul Simbarati, I want to make it clear that we have had a strained relationship from the time we came into office on matters that are official. And indeed, I'm convicted that it is from that perspective that I am before this Senate today on a matter of impeachment, because of the official questions and discussions I've tried to hold with the governor, and we do not seem to pull together. One of them, honorable members of the Senate and Madam Speaker, is the question of the budget absorption, where for 2 consecutive years, we have remained number 47 out of 47 in development resource absorption. In the first year, we did 13.9% of the resource absorption. In the next quarter, the first quarter of this year, Madam Speaker, this financial year, we have done 1.7% resource absorption, and in the first half of this year, we have done 3.9%, and these are the areas of.
Let me guide you. You should be responding to the question you were asked. I feel you have not responded to it. Respond to that question, please. The last question, your relationship with the DG, if I got it correct, with the governor, your relationship with the governor.
Madam Speaker, I'm not hearing you. Maybe if they can raise the power for your mic, I can hear you.
Your relationship with the governor, that was the last question.
Madam Speaker, is the same question I'm dealing with, that the relationship between me and my governor has been deteriorating day in, day out as we moved through the period we've served in the Kisii County. I hope I've answered.
Yes, you have. Senator Asige Kegei Crystal.
Madam Speaker, sorry.
And before we take Senator Asige's question, you have the phone now. Open the page which was downloaded and attached to the document. And the Sergeant at Arms will present it to the Secretariat desk, the clerk's desk, and Senator Cheradigei can have a look at it.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
It is your point of order.
Madam Speaker, I remember last night I was almost the last person to leave this chamber. Today I've been here since morning.
So have
And
the other
questions,
senators.
let me ask my question, Madam Speaker, with all respect. And the people who are asking questions in the previous session, they are the same people asking questions. Just tell me why I'm here. Then if we can just have them to ask questions, then we can watch like others at home.
Senator Karungo Dhangwa, just on a point of information, you have been in the House, and that is a legitimate expectation of the people who brought you to Senate, that you should be in Senate attending to proceedings. You have been attending the proceedings, and other senators have also been attending the proceedings of this impeachment. And I believe all senators have an equal right to seek clarifications and seek questions. So we have used the board that has been showing us the names of the prioritization. So I would urge you, when you want to clarify, you always press your button early, so that, because we use it as a guide on the speaker's side. But having said that, we will bring up more senators who have not had a chance to ask the questions, but all are equally entitled. Senator Asige,
Yes.
as the phone is making its way to the Secretariat desk.
Thank you, Speaker. If that comment by Senator Dhangwa was directed at me, I have to assure him that yesterday I only spoke one time. So I'm not one of the ones who have spoken a lot yesterday. Speaker, I want to speak on behalf of the struggling politicians, because I feel like I am one, whereby if I were to be missing 100,000 shillings in my M-Pesa, I have to admit, I would definitely notice immediately. And that's where my particular question will focus. And I wanted to just engage the DG, if you would allow me. Mr. DG, could you kindly just clarify how you make M-Pesa transaction? Is it through the M-Pesa app? It's through the M-Pesa app?
Yes.
Oh, it is, okay.
It is, Madam Speaker.
Okay, great. So you are somewhat tech savvy, then that has been confirmed. I also want to just confirm the process through which you transact on M-Pesa, and maybe you'll agree or disagree at the end. Number one, Speaker, I'm aware that when you use the M-Pesa app, you have to choose the person that you're sending money to, the recipient. And the next stage is to put in the amount that you want to send. And the next stage is to put in your PIN. And then there is a pop-up that comes which asks you to confirm that those details that you have input are correct before you either cancel or accept that transaction, whereby you would have seen the recipient's name pop up on that. Inaitwa hakikisho in Swahili. And then once you have, if you said accept, if you confirm that those are the right details, Speaker, you press accept, and then, as another senator has said, you'll receive a transaction confirmation with the exact same details, so that you can confirm that you have sent the correct amount to the correct person at said time. Now, with all of those different confirmation opportunities, I wanted to really clarify, because he uses the M-Pesa app, and you have to be tech savvy to use it. how did you not see those confirmation pop-ups that came through the M-Pesa app for you to confirm whether you're sending the money to the right person? Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I've already heard that, I'm sorry, that I missed those pop-ups and sent money knowing that I've sent the money to the right person. I missed those ones you have named. I do not know how you send it. Mine is getting the name and the number, and then I send. So I missed that, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Senator Joyce Coril.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. My question still hangs on the M-Pesa transfers that the witness sent 100,000 to Lucy Waito, which was sent on 28, and it was reversed on 30th. That is barely 2 days later, Madam Speaker. I wanted to know whether there was an agreement between the Deputy Governor and Lucy Waito. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, there was no agreement between myself and Lucy Waito on anything unless clarified. That's the way I got the question. There was no agreement. The position is send the money back, and she had told me to reverse. That is the position at which we left it.
Okay. Senator Mwinyi Haji Mohamed Faki.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mine is also on the same M-Pesa transaction. When you send the money on the, is it 28th? 28th
yes,
of
28th.
May, did you confirm that the money had gone?
Yes, the money went.
So, but you didn't confirm to whom it went. Is that what you're telling us?
I didn't read that name and get to know that it is where I was sending the money to. That is what I'm saying, yes.
Yes. So you confirmed that the money was sent to Lucy. Was it Lucy or?
Lucy.
That same evening?
That evening, yes, the money went to Lucy.
That same evening?
Yes.
But it took her prompting for you to realize that it went to a wrong person.
Yeah, I slept without noticing that the money had gone to the wrong person. So I woke up the next day, and this is when I came to this understanding.
But it is your evidence that on the evening you sent the money, you confirmed that it went to Lucy.
No. It was erroneously sent to Lucy. That's what I'm saying.
That's all.
Senator Mbogwa Mungai George.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. Deputy Governor, I'm following up on the charges of abuse of office, and I want to refer you to your affidavit, paragraph 59, A and B. You seem to suggest that your home is being used for official purposes without your permission.
Sorry?
You seem to suggest that your home is being used for official government offices without your permission. Is that true on point A, paragraph 59 of your affidavit?
Madam Speaker, can we go ahead with the question?
So you seem to suggest that your home is being used for official government business without your permission, because you are saying your input was not sought for. Is that true?
Madam Speaker, this is not referring to myself. I'm saying it's not my home that is used.
Okay. Now
My home
on
has
B,
not been used by anyone for official functions.
Okay. On B, you suggest that the governor's office is being used for official government business. Is there any government money which goes into the use of this office? Is there any money which is used for the government business which is being carried on in that office? Thank you.
Madam Speaker, that I will not be able to confirm if government money is being used. The only response here is that government business is being transacted in the governor's residence.
Senator Onyonka Richard.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Dr. Munda, I have two follow-up questions. The question that you've answered about government business taking place, could you explain what that statement means? In other words, are you trying to say that each and every government transaction since the governor took over in Kisii County has actually been conducted, including cabinet positions, including cabinet meetings, and you as the DG were holding cabinet meetings in the governor's house? And if you can, I would hope you to explain what the government says in terms of where the governor or the president, which place should they operate from. The second question I want to bring to you, Dr. Munda, Madam Asigi raised a very interesting question, but I thought, and I'm not on a fishing expedition, I thought you got confused. Do you know the difference between an M-Pesa app and M-Pesa Kawaida?
Madam Speaker, I may be lost between the two.
Yeah, can you explain if you can? Lastly, this money that you sent erroneously, have you ever sent any other erroneous money to anybody at any one time? And did you get a reversal, and how do you claim that money back? Thank you.
Madam Speaker, with your permission, I may start with the M-Pesa. I'm lost between the M-Pesa app and the M-Pesa by the Senator Onyonga, what he called M-Pesa Kawaida. Madam Speaker, I may be on the Kawaida M-Pesa because I have not heard the difference between the two. I will have to refer when I leave this Senate. And so, on the matter of reversal, what did you ask?
I asked whether you have ever sent any other money other than this money to anybody else before this exercise started or even now.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I've done. M-Pesa is a continuous process by everyone of this era. And so I've sent and I've lost. Sometimes I've lost the money. And sometimes when I'm able to call and get the money sent back, I have succeeded to get the money back. This happens all the time. And I think my considered opinion is that it is for that reason that the Safaricom decided to have the two reversal and even sending back. Madam Speaker, on the first question, the Honorable Senator has asked me to explain a little. All I know, once sworn into government, we are expected to transact government business in designated areas, gazetted areas, such that the Senate will conduct business in the designated Senate, as an example, Madam Speaker, and this assembly. But in my case and the Kisii, once we came into government after being sworn in, and this was in the presence of my Super Senator Richard Onyonga, we did the the swearing in.
Just to guide you, we do not have any super senator.
Okay,
They are
yeah.
all senators,
Madam
honorable
Speaker,
senators.
I withdraw that and replace it
Just
with
refer
Senator
to him
Onyonga.
as honorable senator is the official title. Can you continue with the answer?
Yes,
Proceed on.
Madam Speaker, once we were sworn in, the previous governor's office by the former governor was of course available, but we did not occupy that space, including my space as a deputy governor, on grounds that my governor will want to do renovations to those offices before we occupy them. And therefore, we had to start operating from the holding rooms of the Kisii Stadium. And we've remained in those holding rooms in the stadium until today as I speak here. Madam Speaker, if I were to be impeached by this motion, I wouldn't have stepped into the official gazetted governor's offices in Kisii as at now. And after a short while, Madam Speaker, at the stadium, my governor, His Excellency Mbarati, decided to start conducting government meetings in his own residence in Motonto village. And this has remained the position of the Kisii County government over many years without imputing any wrong motive, Madam Speaker. We have found ourselves in a situation where even the Judicial Service Commission visited Kisii, and we were required to go to the rural home where we went and we held that meeting there, and it was painful for me having the Judicial Service Commission conducting an official meeting in a private residency. Madam Speaker, this is the scenario in brief in Kisii. The CECs will find their way to that home every day. The chief officers the same, and the directors the same. Madam Speaker, at some point as I raised this matter, I started getting excluded from attending those meetings, and without getting, and totally not getting information that there is any meeting going on anywhere where a deputy governor can also attend. That is the scenario in Kisii. I want to stop there, hoping I've answered the honorable senator's question, inviting this Senate to visit Kisii and see by yourselves, Madam Speaker, that that's the scenario we are in Kisii County.
Thank you. Senator Karungo, you'll be the final one, then you take a direction on the remaining. We have about 17, and we'll have to take a direction on how we go about it. Meantime, Senator Karungo, very quickly. And
thank you. Mine are very brief, Madam Speaker. And I would start by asking the Deputy Governor, Mr. Deputy Governor, why would your brother be so bitter with you that he would want you to lose your seat and go live with him at your father's house, at your father's farm? The second question, yesterday I asked Dennis a question, and I asked him if he got a job after giving the 800,000 bribe, would he tell anybody, would he go to the police? And his answer was no, I wouldn't have gone to any police. I would just be enjoying my job. Now, in that line of thinking, would I say Lucy Waheto, would I be right to say Lucy Waheto also came here because probably you did not give him all the money that he wanted. Probably you did not give her all the money that she wanted. Out of the 800, maybe she wanted 400. You gave her 100,000. Then there were 2 days of, are you sending more? Are you sending more? And then if you're not sending more, I'm going to refund the money. And that is exactly what happened. Would I be right to say so?
Madam Speaker, I will start with that last question to say no, the Honorable Senator will not be right to say so because we've not had a discussion with Lucy Waido beyond the erroneous transaction of money. The other one is about my brother, and I've said it's a sad scenario that the entire happening is simply intended to drag my name through the mud. That's all I would want to say, Madam Speaker, that my brother is in that pain of not supporting me in the past in the elections, but I've continued to win. And after the elections, my brother has not been happy, and he believes the campaigns continue beyond the time we were elected. And so he'll wish that I'm impeached for him to feel better, because I would have lost the seat I won against his wishes that I don't. You refer to the Kisii elections, you will see many clips showing how my brother campaigned hard against me, but then I flawed them, and those who are flawed will always be looking for grounds to continue fighting. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Senators, we have now finished the slots that we had allocated, but I have about 17 requests for senators who need clarifications. We have to take a direction because we have 5 witnesses who still have to give evidence, be cross-examined, be re-examined. So what is your point of order? Before you do the points of order, I want us to take a direction as a House, whether we add 3 slots, both majority and minority leaders are here. Yes. Senator Methu, and then Senator Osotsi. Senator Osotsi, meantime, raise your point of order. Resume your seat. I invited you to use the dispatch box. You move first.
Madam Speaker, I think you directed that Mr. Monda's phone be checked to confirm the phone list attached on the documents. I think we need to dispense with that because the document raised a lot of concerns from the members and from the council as to its authenticity. And also, understanding the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act, particularly Section 23, that talks about false publication of computer information. So I think that would be a very crucial aspect to deal with before we proceed.
See, I give the direction. I had directed that the phone on the page which has been downloaded and attached, the documentation, be presented to the clerk, and Senator Cherargei, who had raised that issue, was to be there to see that page. He's not in the House, so I'm holding it. It will still be done. What is your point of order, Senator Methu? So I've given direction, it will still be checked.
Honorable Speaker, since you had already given direction that you shall take 4 from each side, I think it is fair that we stick to that direction that you had given. But I would be of the proposal, Honorable Speaker, because we have, I think, 5 more witnesses, that for the rest of us who are on that dashboard, because I know I'm one of them, that you give us priority in terms of getting clarification from the other witnesses that will be coming, so that then we can be able to avoid the question that had been raised by Senator Karongo Dango of the same people speaking over and over. that when we get the next witness, then we can get another 8, then we remain with a few more others so that everybody can be able to speak to this matter.
Senator Hamida, on a point of order only, then I give a direction. We take consensus and...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to request if you could give us, a few of us who have not talked, at least more time. At least give us 20 minutes for each side so that at least we can proceed. Because he's the main witness, then at least we have not exhausted our questions, kindly.
20 minutes for each side would be too much for both sides. Honorable Senators, we either take a few more or proceed on with the witnesses and give priority to the senators who have not clarified anything in the next batch. Senator Mohammed.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, I think the direction which was given was that the DG side had 3 hours to present their case together with the cross-examination and conclusion. Maybe has not now changed, because I've seen we did about 2 hours in the morning and I've done another 2 hours now. And you should, the way we are managing our time, I don't think we are going to conclude this matter
That's definitely the
before
concern.
midnight.
That is definitely
Yes.
the concern.
So you need to give direction, Madam Speaker, so that we know the time frames of what we are doing. Because yesterday there was a time frame which was presented and accepted by the plenary. And now we are digressing from that time frame. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Mohammed. I'll take one more point of order, then I give a direction. From Senator Roba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Considering the Deputy Governor is the key person and the issues that have been raised around, his removal from office, I think it's only fair if, even if you limit the time, the senators that want to raise some questions to the Deputy Governor be given, even if you limit the time to one question in that regard. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, in view of the time constraint, but noting that this is a very key witness and the impeachment is on the Deputy Governor, I will give an opportunity to 3 senators on this side, 3 senators on the majority side, a total of 6 senators, and each should take only 1 minute. Beyond 1 minute, I'll request the clerk to switch off the microphone so that we do it under 10 minutes or 12 minutes and move on to the other witnesses. Senator Enoch.
That's well guided, Madam Speaker. But then, in the same breath, then you should also require of the witness to also respond decisively to questions without expounding on anything.
Honorable Senators, I want to request, and we guide that even your questions be precise, don't give a narration or 2 paragraphs of a background. Just ask a specific question, and the witness is duly guided to give specific, precise answers to the questions that are asked. If it's a question of yes or no, just say yes or no. And I will now request Senator Seki to ask the question. He's not there. Senator Boni Halwale.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Deputy Governor Robert Monda is my friend. In fact, I'm the only one in this House who was a colleague of his in the 10th Parliament. Listening to you, my old friend and colleague, your fate is going to turn on your word against the word of your own witnesses. Young Dennis Misati has told us that and proved that he gave you 500,000. You have refused. Your word against his. Joseph Mesati has said that you went to him for money, you were broke. You have refused your word against his. Gladys Amingo has a document here where she demonstrates that you are doing business with her. You have refused her word against yours. And finally, Lucy Wahito has demonstrated.
What's your question, Senator Boni? It's over, it's 1 minute.
On page 264, that she you are innocent by telling the House, do we believe you?
Witness.
Madam Speaker, to answer these questions, from my friend, the Senator Kalwale, Mr. Misati, as
What's your point of order, Senator Wakoli? Use the dispatch box, Senator.
Honorable Speaker, is it in order for my senior brother, Mheshimiwa Boni Khalwale, to already show signals that he's already making decisions and judging the innocent doctor without the due process coming to a conclusion, Honorable Speaker? Let us be impartial as honorable senators and allow the defense and the accused to come on board and elaborate themselves. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The witness, following the point of order, let me give a direction. The witness can concentrate on the question that was posed in the last sentence, whether you should be believed or the other witnesses should be believed. Just that bit.
Madam Speaker, there have been a mention of several names of witnesses who have been here. Dennis Misati, against the word of his father, Joseph Misati. My affirmation is that Joseph Misati and myself are on the same page. And so we have not pulled in different directions, and I hope my friend senator is listening to me. So Joseph Misati are talking different language with the son. And it's not me who has said we are not talking the same language with Joseph Misati. Misati refunded my money, and that's our position, the two of us. Gladys Aminga have not deviated that I gave Gladys Aminga the contract to deliver building material to my home. That's the position I've taken, and I paid what was due to her. Lucy, the Wasco MD, we are on the same page that I sent money to her erroneously, and she refers the money to me. There's no more that she has said about me, other than that she has two statements. One, she says, I said nothing when we talked on the phone on the same money, and on the affidavit she said something else. So I've not deviated from what all these witnesses have said. I have a position about them.
Thank you. Senator Hamida.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Bonadiji, the young man, Dennis, really broke down. They lost the family business, and the wife also had a miscarriage. Are you really conscious? Is your conscience clear that there was no fraud by promising this young man or by extorting money from him to get a job? That is one, just the second one. There's been so much...
Leave it at one question, Senator Hamida, for this last session. Just one question.
Just one more, Madam Speaker.
Leave it at one question. Everybody needs a little
Thank
chance
you, Madam
to
Speaker.
ask.
So then, Dennis Misati broke down. I was here yesterday, and I saw it. But again, Dennis Misati was on record that he has not talked to me any one time about the job he was looking for. He got all the story about the job from his father. The father was here today morning. There's no way I can know that Dennis sold a business or suffered any loss, yet the connection, the only link between me and Dennis is the father, who has witnessed today in the morning that he is not privy to any business lost, nor Dennis having money to come and give me as a bribe, or he was calling it something else, not inducement, something. And so I cannot speak for Dennis Misati. He can only speak about his father, through whom he indicated he got every communication from me.
Senator Derito John Kenya.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in the county, DG is #2 in command. Madam Speaker, he is telling us that he sent money erroneously to a person he has saved as CEO, who is a junior officer in terms of command. Madam Speaker, what I'm trying to understand, how was it so hard for that officer to reverse or to send the money immediately, which ended up taking 2 days? I had listened to him saying the officer said he could not reverse the money immediately because he was in the airport. Then from the airport, she entered a very serious meeting. Madam Speaker, I am still not understanding. That's the only part I'm not getting. I need clarity.
DG?
Madam Speaker, that is very true. Lucy is a junior officer in the company where she works, a company created between the Kisii County and the Nyamira County. And Madam Speaker, she works under Board of Management. I am the Deputy Governor. If indeed I was to look for jobs from the board, sorry, I then should have been able to reach the Board of Management, because that's where the marks for anyone looking for a job is awarded. It's not at the CEO. So, Madam Speaker, this assertion, to me, I find it far from what it should be. I want to talk to the management board. Madam Speaker.
Can you make your answers precise and short? That's what we guided.
I stop. He had mentioned, the senator had mentioned something about the sending of the money. And Madam Speaker, I've already mentioned here that from the records that are in these panels that are before the Senate, I realized that Madam Lucy Waido used the same money that she was supposed to reverse immediately on the 29th morning. And so even if she was to reverse the money, she didn't have the same money to reverse to me until the 30th, when she finally reversed the money and on some kind of loan. And if that loan we call what? In M-Pesa. Fuliza, if that Fuliza was there on the same 29th, then why did she leave herself to be below 100,000, which she was reversed to me? I hope I've responded.
Senator Betty.
Timotet or is it Beth?
It's working.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, mine is just a quick one. You said that the 100,000 you are sending to Gladys was for services rendered to you on transport. Have you brought any evidence to show that there's either an invoice or a demand notice, either on phone or written to you, demanding that, that payment, please?
Madam Speaker, I don't have those documents, but from the statement given by Gladys, she's confirming that she transported the materials as my affidavit was also indicating. So we are in agreement with Gladys that she transported materials for me, and that is in a record in the documents before this House.
Senator Mudigi.
Asante, Madam Speaker. Yangu ni machache. Bwana Deputy Governor, we ni mwenye county na unajua sina zote zile siko Kisii. Mambo ya pesa kutumia mtu na kurudishie, hiyo kwa mimi ni vitu imefanyika kwa muda mrefu na bora pesa ilirundi. Lakini mambo ya hizi pesa zingine nataka kukuuliza Bwana Deputy Governor, wakati tulikuja Kisii juu ya wafanyikazi kulikuwa na shida nikiwa mmoja wa lipa wafanyikazi walipa, unajua ile mambo yote iko Kisii ambayo ni mzito sana mkafuta watu. Lakini nataka kuuliza hakuna njia ndio hii mambo isifike katika county ya Kisii na pia ifike hapa. Hakuna vile hapo mbeleni ungejua vile utafanya uweze kumaliza hii maneno kabla haijafika hapa pahali tumefika. Asante, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, this matter has been speeded up very quickly by I will call it my CEO, is part and parcel to this movement, this impeachment, so that I'm gotten rid of because of the issues I'm already raising on the management of the county. And so it could have been managed if we sat together as the leadership. But I've got my CEO who will also determine whether that kind of meeting can take place or not.
Senator Okoiti Andrew Mutata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Excellency, Deputy Governor, I have just one small concern that is disturbing me. Yesterday, a video was played here of a very, very poor lady who makes her living, who ekes out her living by selling mutura, accusing you of having taken money from her. And there were many others who came up. But I'm taking that particular one because it's the one that seems to have evidence that it was made at the public participation, during a public participation forum. What would be your response, or did you have a chance to respond to that allegation? Because for me, for somebody poor claiming that you took so much from her is a very, very painful experience for me. And that for me is one thing that's going to guide my decision.
Madam Speaker, the clips that were played in this House, the Honorable House will notice that all of it ran around the bursary, that I have been soliciting for bribes to give people bursaries. Bursaries in counties have committees that run bursaries and not the Deputy Governor. Madam Speaker, you get a report of Kisii. The last bursary given was, in the last financial year, was 3,000 shillings per student. What kind of sense would it make if you get a parent bribing a deputy governor 12,000, 20,000 to get 3,000? Does it make economic sense? Does it look like there is something happening? Madam Speaker, these clips played here were all choreographed to simply implicate me, where they have been indicated to have been taken. you will get in the same report you have. For instance, Masimba, I'll quote Masimba. Masimba is the headquarter for Masimba ward. In the report, it's indicated when the team doing public participation reached there was nobody to attend the public participation. But at the end of the report and the clip played here, Madam Speaker, I realized that there is a gentleman who is a border rider, whom I know in person, whom we have taken food together in my house, claiming to have come to my home, to me to get bursaries. Madam Speaker, I've never sat anywhere in a committee releasing bursaries to the beneficiaries. I've never. This was simply meant to augment the claim that Monda takes bribes, and that is what was done. If you look at the timing of the public participation, yes.
I want to guide you once again. You keep to the question and give short, precise answers to the questions.
Okay.
So rest it there. Senator Paris is the final question, and then we move on to the next witness.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to put it to the DG that his friend Joseph Misati had said that he's financially struggling. And in that case, could this be the reason why the DG is soliciting money in order to assist in the job placement of Misati's son, Dennis?
Madam Speaker, I've responded to that question earlier severally, that that assignment was generally done by Mr. Misati, that politicians have their challenges in terms of resources and the kind of work they do. He also then said he will expect that I'm also one of those who are suffering in terms of resources. No, Mr. Misati did not speak for me that I'm asking for money from anyone, and I've not asked for money from anyone to solve the challenges that are financial for politicians, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senators. I think, unfortunately, we have to move on because we have 5 other witnesses who have not given evidence, and the Senators who have not found time now, you have an opportunity in the next bunch. So the DG's team, the Honorable Deputy Governor's team, who are you calling next?
Madam Speaker, we are calling next Honorable Lillian Gore. And Madam Speaker, I just wanted to indicate that considering the constraints of time, we are electing to drop 2 witnesses, and we will be calling, apart from the next witness, we will be calling 2 more, and then we close.
That is very good. We appreciate that. So let's have the next witness, and that you save our time on questions. The witness may take the stand and be sworn in.
Which faith do you ascribe to?
I'm a Christian.
Christian. So you take an oath for affirmation?
I will take an oath.
So when the speaker calls you to take the oath, you count the Bible on the letter.
Counsel, how much time do you need with this witness? We hope it's below 30 minutes.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I'll take 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
But
My colleagues have 7 minutes in cross-examination. They gave up their 7 minutes.
Yes, we are aware of that. The Secretariat marked it.
Madam Speaker, if you may allow me. We gave our time for 2 witnesses. Only 2 witnesses are the ones that we waived our right of cross-examination. And therefore, if those 2 witnesses then are not appearing before the Senate, it then discounts our arguments. Because they are not coming. We only dropped 2 witnesses, which my learned friend has also agreed to drop. Not this particular witness. And then...
Okay.
Madam Speaker, the election on the time they gave up was for 2 witnesses who are named, and they're still coming. So the 7 minutes that were ambiguous will now count to this 3rd witness.
Council, proceed with your witness. Use your time wisely. Those decisions will be made by the chair.
I, Lillian Anyango Gor, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before the Senate in respect of the matters before the Senate shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Honorable Lillian, maybe you can just introduce yourself to the chamber.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Lillian Nyango Gor. I serve in the Kisii County Assembly, both as a member of County Assembly, and I also sit in the County Assembly Service Board, representing the Minority Coalition.
Yes, Honorable Gore, you saw an affidavit that appears at page 204 to 206 of the bundle labeled DG.
Yes.
That is true?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Madam Speaker, I'm referring to this bundle. Yes, I'll take you quickly to your first assertion at paragraph 3 of that affidavit, where you say that you opposed the motion for impeachment on procedural and substantive grounds.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I was part of the proceedings on the day the motion was moved, and yes, I did stand and I had the privilege, the Speaker gave me an opportunity, and yes, I did oppose on grounds that the motion had not been properly placed before the House, and that there were other substantive grounds that would not then allow the motion to be fairly administered before the House.
Okay, I'll take you to the notice of 13th of February. Yes, it appears at page 6 of the DG bundle.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I'm there.
You can see that notice. This is what was presented before the County Assembly.
Yes, this was a notice presented before the County Assembly on the 13th.
Oh, it's page 5, not page 6, page 5. That's the one dated the 13th of February.
Correct.
Okay. Was this the sum total of the notice that was served upon the chamber?
Yes, Madam Speaker, what appears on page 5 of the document was what is the notice of motion that we received in the County Assembly.
Were the signatures and any supporting evidence produced?
Madam Speaker, on the day that we had this as a notice of motion, we did not have the opportunity to see, neither did the Speaker refer to any signatures on that particular day.
Okay, and this is a notice that started these whole proceedings?
Madam Speaker, that's correct.
Okay, from your knowledge as a member of the County Assembly, was this notice up to par? Was it in accordance with your standing orders?
Madam Speaker, both our standing orders and Section 33 of the County Government Act directs us on what a notice of motion on impeachment should be, and it specifically refers to two items: the grounds and particulars of the motion. And therefore, what we had on the 13th was the grounds, and we did not have an opportunity to go through the particulars of the motion.
Thank you. Just in the emphasis of time, I'll now move you to the Hansard with regards to the 21st of February. It appears on volume 1 of the County Assembly's bundle. Yes, I'm referring to which page of that particular bundle? The numbers are at the bottom.
Kindly clarify which page you're referring to.
The numbers are at the bottom, where we have Henry introducing, Morasia introducing a motion.
Council, can you guide on the page?
It's page.
Okay, this is 122. Thank you.
It's at page 122 of volume 1.
Yes, I'm there.
Yes. Can you explain to the Senate what motion the majority leader moved before the County Assembly on the 21st of February?
Yes, Madam Speaker, from the page 122, it says, it was an adjournment of debate on motion on removal from office by way of impeachment of His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of the County Government of Kisii, moved by our Leader of Majority, Honorable Muraja.
Yes. I now ask you to look at that, Hansard. Was that motion allowed? That motion for adjournment? As a member of the chamber, maybe you can inform the Senate. Was that motion allowed for adjournment?
Honorable Speaker, usually when a motion is moved, we expect that it is seconded. Thereafter, a question will be put by the Speaker, but here I'm not seeing any member of the Assembly who did this second the motion.
So the motion in question was not seconded?
Honorable Speaker, no, it was not.
Okay. And was that motion then debated?
There was an attempt, Honorable Speaker, there was an attempt to do a debate.
Was it finally passed?
No.
Did the adjournment happen?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, at the end of it, there was an adjournment as per the communication that was from the chair on that particular day.
Okay. Now we'll move on to this public participation we've been informed took place at the instigation of the County Assembly. It appears at page 56 to 58. The report appears at page 56 to 58 of the DG's bundle, the other bundle. This is a submission from the public participation. You can see it?
Yes, the page 56, the document is headed Submission on the Public Participation.
Yes. Who is this submission from?
The document is dated 26 from Benson Nyagaka Masario.
Misario.
Yeah, Misario.
Yes, have you had a chance to go through this particular submission by this citizen of Kisii?
Yes, I have had an opportunity to go through this submission.
Yes, you've seen the issues he raised with regards to the county executive.
Yes, quite a number of issues were raised.
You've referred to these issues in your affidavit.
Yes, I've referred to a number of them, Madam Speaker.
I'll take you to the first issue you've referred to at paragraph 7 of your affidavit. And this relates to the senior staff mortgage.
Yes, I'm there, Madam Speaker.
Yes. Who gave directions or who initiated this senior staff mortgage that you refer to?
The senior staff mortgage facilities is a directive of SRC, and that was communicated through a gazette notice, and that is a benefit that is anybody who is a CEC, a deputy governor, or a governor within our country, Kenya, is eligible to have access to it.
Yes. Did the County Assembly of Kisii then operationalize a senior staff mortgage?
Yes, Madam Speaker, the County Assembly of Kisii, because it is mandated to approve any borrowing or borrowing arrangements within the county, then went ahead to approve a borrowing of about 90 million to senior staff for mortgage facilities that then would facilitate the actualization of that SRC notice, gazette notice.
Have these senior staff been able to enjoy this fund that you disbursed?
To the best of my knowledge, no, they have not.
Why is this?
Part of what has happened is that the process of approval, instead of being domiciled at the committee level, as was approved by the County Assembly, the process is no longer with the committee. It is being discussed elsewhere, and that has hampered the process of getting access to the mortgage.
Okay. This elsewhere you refer to, where is this elsewhere you refer to?
Currently, one of the CEC did confide and say that the document is not within the executive's office. It is stored within the governor's palatial home.
Okay. Now, on that point, we can move on to the next issue, which is the use of the governor's home as an office. Yes. Is this a fact you have personal knowledge of, that the governor actually uses his house as an office?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I've personally received an invite to go and have an official meeting and discussion within the palatial home.
Okay. Is this a known fact in Kisii County, that this is his office?
Yes, it is a known fact. In fact, we have had access to videos going around in the social media confirming that the governor is comfortable with discussions on government matters being held from his residence.
Okay. In the interest of time, we'll move on to this issue of ghost workers. Yes, you indicated there were media reports about 14 ghost workers.
Yes, we did receive, first of all, one of the few things that were done the moment we got the new government, procedurally or in a way of caution, instruction was given to a body that was then supposed to evaluate into HR issues and many other reports, including pending bills. And this information was communicated to us in one of the forums in the stadium when the executive said that there are issues within the country, that the county, that will be resolved by a few of the instructions that he has issued.
Yes, was this report or from this investigation, was there a report that was produced?
At one point, I saw on social media information that there is a report, but as a member of County Assembly, I haven't had access to the report, neither do I know where the report is. And we as an assembly have not discussed the report at all.
So it has never been tabled before the County Assembly?
Madam Speaker, no, it has not been tabled.
Okay, which ties into our next issue, which is this Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Board case that appears at pages 192 to 187 of the DG's bundle. Did this case arise out of this alleged hunt for ghost hunters, for ghost workers?
Madam Speaker, what I'm aware of is that in the social media, there was an official document from the county secretary that was going around, and it was indicating that about 700 workers had been given show cause letters. Quite a number of them were coming from were members of the KMPDU organization. And therefore, because they had received the show cause letters, KMPDU as an organization therefore went ahead to find a way that they can support and have their members listened to.
Yes, did this case therefore cause the county to utilize funds to defend this baseless case?
Madam Speaker, yes, the county had to defend because the respondent was the county.
And this is tied in with this unknown report on ghost workers?
Yes.
Okay, I'll now take you to pages 158 and 160 of our bundle. And these pictures we saw of MCA votes with regards to the motion that was before the county assembly. Yes, we start at page 158.
Yes, I'm there.
Yes, you can see this is the ballot. You can confirm this is a ballot you had with regards to the impeachment motion before the county assembly.
Madam Speaker, I can confirm this is a sample of the ballot paper that we had there.
Yeah, you can confirm this is a staff ID for one Karen Nyamoita
Madam
of the
Speaker,
county assembly.
Madam Speaker, I can confirm this is the ID.
And you can
of
confirm
one
that
of
is
the
a
honorable
picture.
members. Yes, this is her picture.
Okay, and that there's a similar picture of a similar MCA at 159? And
Yes.
their ballot?
Council,
Yes, Madam Speaker.
You have 5 minutes and time will be strict, so you condense your questions to what you truly want to get.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Yes, and you confirm that's the same case at page 160?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Yes, why would members of county assembly take photos of their votes and distribute them in this manner?
To the best of my knowledge, members of county assembly were avoiding instances of being de-whipped. And members of county assembly have previously had instances where if they act against what they have been instructed to, then they face being de-whipped from committees and they face very grievous challenges within the assembly. So I sympathize with these members. They may not have been happy to do this, but they were just making sure that their life is safe.
So they were acting under instructions?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker. That is all for this witness. I'll hand you over for cross-examination. Madam
you.
Speaker, maybe now we can
Thank
take
you,
directions
Counsel.
as to the
I'll
time.
give directions. 2 witnesses have been dropped, which saves on time. But we are still not doing too well on time.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
So I will allow cross-examination by counsel. How many minutes do you need?
2 minutes.
Oh, good. Let's have the cross-examination in the 2 minutes.
And the rest I'll reserve to use in my submissions at the closure. Good evening, Mheshimiwa.
Good evening, Wakili.
You have referred us to page 157, 158, 159, 160, yes?
Correct, Madam Speaker.
What is the source of this information? Where did you get this from?
I have read it from here.
Where did you get it from?
I have read it from here, sir.
Madam, just answer me the question. Where did you get this information from?
I got this information from this bundle.
from this bundle?
Yes.
Do you know its source?
I got the information from the bundle.
Do you know the source of this information?
The source is this bundle. That's my understanding.
She's given an answer. You take that.
Are you trying to say that the Senate has been sitting for the last 2 days over 48 hours in vain?
That's not my testimony, sir.
Thank you.
Any re-exam? I believe you'll take a very short while.
Yes, Madam Speaker, just one question.
Proceed.
Yes, Honorable Gore, is this the first time you've seen those photos?
Madam Speaker, I have seen these photos on MCA WhatsApp platform, Kisii County MCA WhatsApp platform also.
Thank you, Honorable Gore.
Senator Methu, do you have any interventions or questions?
Just a clarification from the witness. From your evidence this afternoon, you say that for the best of your knowledge, the photos were being taken by the members of the County Assembly because there has always been consequences if they are not made, if they do not vote in a certain manner. I would want, especially the whipping. I would want to know from whom do these instructions come from, and what are the instances, to the best of your knowledge as a member of that County Assembly, that people have been de-whipped for voting in a certain way.
Madam Speaker, we have 2 members of the County Assembly who are currently de-whipped from their committees, and they belong to the ODM party. These members also share the same political party with our Excellency. These members have no the platform to be able to contest that which is happening. Currently, we have a member who has gone for 8 months without an allowance. An MCA only earns 89,000, and it is fully committed in mortgages and loans. And as a member who sits in the board, County Assembly Service Board, I have received several complaints, and I have had to go and extend and sit down with this member who has suicidal thoughts because of that matter. And that is why I thought it is wise that I will come and testify about it, because it is something that is close to me, but I have no control over it.
So that I get the answer to that particular question. I'm not asking a different question. Is that for the 2 members who you say one of them has not had a salary for the last 8 months, is it then as a consequence of a vote that he or she ever took? And as a member of the board, it is then puzzling that you're the person that processes salaries for the members of the County Assembly.
Senator Methu, did she talk about salaries or allowances?
Well, let me say benefits. Let me use benefits. I think that would make more sense. That she has not been able to be enjoying benefits for the last 8 months. Is it because he or she ever voted in a certain way, that member from the ODM party?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The reason as to why members did this was because they did not want to go against instructions. One of the instructions, or one of the things that this honorable member who has gone for 8 months without salary is because he went and talked against the position of his leader within the party. So yes, we fear that when we do anything against that position, we are victimized and we are sent away from the assembly. Despite the fact that the standing orders say that a member should be at least in one standing committee. This member we are referring to is not in any committee. That means that even the people, because this is an elected member, even the people that have sent him to the assembly have been denied an opportunity to have their views presented in the assembly.
Senator Eric Mogeni Okong.
Yes, Mheshimiwa, you know, as we sit here so that you assist us with information that will help us make a determination that is fair and just. And on the 4 counts that the Deputy Governor of Kisii County is facing, I've listened to your testimony and I've not heard you respond to any of those 4 charges that are facing the governor. So do you think what you have told us this afternoon is relevant to the business that is before us? Number 2, I've read your affidavit. I think it was sworn on 11th of March, 2024. And all the things you have said about MCS who have in the past been threatened by the governor, who have lost certain positions, 2 of them you say, some who have lost, who have been punished by being denied their allowances. All that information appears nowhere in your affidavit. Is it that you have just had an afterthought, or how come you didn't include such crucial information in your affidavit? As I said, ours is to get evidence that assists us in arriving at a determination relevant to the charges that are facing the DG of Kisii County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Senator has asked me if the information is relevant with this distinguished assembly. Yes, to the best of my knowledge, it is important and relevant to this assembly. One of the items that was presented through public participation was the observation of this and whose content I'm referring myself to. And if this was a matter that was then referred to the assembly, courtesy of a public participation activity, and these are observations that have come from the people of Kisii County, then the people of Kisii County's views are relevant in this observation, unless we want to believe that the views of the people of Kisii County are irrelevant for this discussion. Part 2, the information appears right now, and it was not part of the affidavit. Honorable Speaker, I was responding to the questions as presented to me by my by Wakili, and I was expounding as he has requested me to expound. Thank you.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, mine was a query on, the witness before us should focus on giving us evidence that will assist the DG to be saved or not, instead of focusing on the fight between the deputy governor and the governor, because it's not going to help in any way. That is what I just wanted to, this is not clarification. Basically, I was doing an intervention because of that, so that at least, we don't waste a lot of time on local politics. What is before us is the County Assembly of Kisii impeached the deputy governor, and this house, we are determining whether they were right in impeaching him or not. So the witness is supposed to help us, to give us something that can assist the charges of this house. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Kisang. Senator Mwinyi Haji Mohamed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Lilian, you belong to which political party?
My party is Kenya National Congress.
Kenya National Congress.
Correct.
You are therefore in the opposition as far as the Kisii County Assembly is concerned.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I represent the minority coalition.
You represent the minority.
Yes.
And it is your evidence that you oppose the motion procedurally and on substantive grounds, but your opposition was defeated.
Yes, Madam Speaker, in my own right, I did oppose, and I think it's also part of the answer.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Gloria.
Madam Speaker, I just wanted a clarification from the member of County Assembly. You say from your submissions, it seems that you do not have confidence in the institution that you present, that is the County Assembly. Would I be right to say then that you also take the same position with the earlier submissions, that some of the part of the answers are not correct?
Madam Speaker, I'm confident of what the County Assembly does. I have reservations for decisions and a few things that are not done procedurally. And I did raise them then, I still raise them now.
So, Madam Speaker, just for everyone to be clear, are you here as a member of County Assembly or in your personal capacity?
Madam Speaker, I'm here as a member of County Assembly and in my personal capacity as a resident of Kisii County.
Thank you. That's the end of Senator Sifuna. You just pressed your button, right? Should be
Yes,
the final
Madam Speaker, I was not going to say anything to this witness, but there is an allegation that has been made, and I wanted to know from the witness if there is any documentation that you've presented before the Senate with regards to your averment that members of the Orange Democratic Movement Party have previously been punished for going against a party position. So you would have to show me that party position and the MCAs that were affected. Do you have any such material before the Senate today?
Madam Speaker, I know and I can name 2 members of ODM party who have been disciplined, but Madam Speaker, currently I do not have any document I brought before this House.
Senator Chute, that should be the final intervention, then we proceed on.
I don't have anything for the Madam Witness, but I have a question for the legal counsel for the Deputy Governor. From yesterday till today, the issues that are before us are what Dennis has said, Lucy, and the Deputy Governor. And I want to believe that the issue of influencing employment by the Deputy Governor is very clear. The Deputy Governor has agreed that he has asked Lucy to employ Dennis. Number 2, the transfer of funds. As Dennis has said, it is very clear that transfer of funds were transferred. Dennis transferred 49,000, 150,000, and lastly, he transferred 50,000 at 2043. So at 21:24, which is 41 minutes after Dennis has transferred this amount of money, the Deputy Governor transferred 100,000 to Lucy. So looking at Article 75, Madam Speaker, will I be wrong if I tell the Council? 71B, a state officer shall behave whether in public and official life, in private life, or in association